So welcome to MiniFridge. I'm Andrea Radek.
And I'm Kristen Plesko.
And today we have something else from Rant sent us another email with something we couldn't resist. So they have some insight on their stuff. So backstory, these two are in my oh my god, I am such an amazing artist. Why aren't more people following me in my amazing art DeviantArt page? Where I basically thought I was so cool for rendering everything that did not need to be rendered and put way too much time into basically making things uglier. And that's definitely a very good point. Like, we both went through that phase. Like, yours, some of the pieces we've looked at with yours have been like that ice thing where you just put a lot of...
fucking wonder why.
Well, you're like, well, everything has to be detailed, and that's not really quite true.
If you look at ice, it's detailed. I must detail everything I see.
Yeah. What would you say is the correct way of going about that? Obviously, not doing that is a good way, but...
Do everything to a certain, like, sloppy point, and then figure out where you want people to look, and then detail that. And you're probably good.
Yeah, honestly, like, you get a little bit better at sort of sorting out where you don't want details at and like what matters. Shadow. But you don't want it to look like it's not thought about, I guess. Like, you just get better at shorthanding generic shapes that go with these things. And so it's not so much, I have to incredibly detail this elbow. It's like, this is the correct shape of an elbow and this is how everything should fit in. I just don't have to detail that now, and people still understand that's an elbow. They're not going to think it's some sort of, bone spur coming out the back of their arms type of thing. So everybody definitely goes through over-detailing the shit out of everything, and it's a very frustrating phase. And also everybody goes through, I am king shit, and everybody should look at my stuff, and why don't they?
Yeah, and it always happens when you're, like, kind of a shitty artist, too. Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, I made... like a billion tutorials when I probably shouldn't have, and I deleted all of them, and people are like, where are your tutorials? And it's like, no, you're not looking at my how to draw line art tutorial on open canvas that doesn't even exist anymore, and it's shit. No.
I too have a bunch of tutorials, and I definitely went through that phase as well, and I want to say it mostly comes through being able to get some semblance of what you have as an idea down. Even though it's not exactly what you had thought of, you're like, wow, I am God, I look at what my hands have wrought, look at what I have created. Oh, for God's sakes, Kat, you've been so good. Why are you yelling now?
Because we're talking and he thinks that he needs to make a noise. I don't know. I'm not a cat psychologist.
He's been good. He's been medicated and stuff. Get out. Why? You don't need to go into that bathroom. You're just staring at me. I'm sorry. All cats must leave.
Yeah, cats are annoying sometimes.
No. What do you want with that? Get out.
I don't know, but...
Anyways, it's been good. But, yeah, you definitely get to this point where you think that you understand everything. And anytime that you sort of sit down and you're like, wow, I am so good at this, I don't need to practice anymore. I got it fucking made. And everybody comes to those realizations. Everybody's like... God, I can draw dragon noses with the best of them.
Instead of drawing a banana like everyone else in class, I'm going to draw a dragon. An anime dragon with beautiful hair. Also, he has a human form.
Also, his human form, he likes me.
Also, he's in love with Kristen. Kristen Plesko, specifically. A sixth grader extraordinaire.
But it's a different Kristen Plesko.
She has magical powers and...
slitty eyes?
No, that was your thing. I didn't have slitty eyes. I had bell bottoms.
You're fucking missing. Well, I also had bell bottoms, and they all had my shoes sticking out directly facing the camera every single time, and they were just little half moons.
God, I hate it so much, but it's so funny at the same time.
I think it's really interesting how people like one of the things that still interests me as a person that's gone through college and like people watching and like learning about that type of stuff and ultimately doing something completely fucking different. Which has no bearing on what I'm trying to say, but like one of the things that still interests me is that like as unique and as individual as people are, we are so much the fucking same type of person that reacts to the same types of stimuli.
Don't say that. We're all special snowflakes.
No, we're not. We're just a species.
My mom said
we're just a species, and the way that we act to certain things is all exactly the same. So people tend to have a lot of the very same types of development problems, and especially tackling something. Like, for me personally, I'm starting to get to the point that I'm really fed up with hearing people telling me that they don't have time to learn how to draw. Like, more than before. Because most of the time I'm able to sort of like, you really got to put time into something if you want to learn how to draw. And like the responses I've been getting back, I'm just like, I'm just too busy. I'm too tired. I have no time.
Do you have a medical problem that's causing you to be tired?
No.
Because
I'm
too fucking tired all the time, but I still do it.
Like, I used to have a lot more sympathy and stuff for that in the past, and that's definitely waned. And I'm definitely at the point that I feel like if the right type of situation came across where somebody's like, I just try to draw so much, but then, my mom says that I shouldn't, and so I didn't. I'm at the point that I'm like, just fucking do it. I'm gonna go, like, fucking Shia LaBeouf on people and just
fucking do it or don't.
Sit down and fucking do it, or don't complain to me about the same shit over and over, because I can't stand just hearing the same sort of shit like that. Just again and again.
Like, I understand if there's like a psychological issue that they have to work out first. Like for me personally, like with personal artwork, it's a hump I have to go through.
Right.
But I know that the medication I'm taking to not be, weird.
It's a hassle for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And some people, they do have more things piled against them, but
usually people don't ask that question. They already know what's the problem.
A lot of the times people will just sort of subscribe to their own magazine, and they're just like, I cannot do that. I just don't want to do. I can't do it, and they don't fucking try.
I mean, like, even if I don't feel up to drawing, I might take out a book and look at things, and and basically take a sticky note and say, I really like how this is done, and even though I'm not physically working, I'm still using my damn brain, even though I'm super tired, like. And so there really is no excuse. You can do something.
Yeah, that's
you don't
the
have
thing.
to do everything. Go on Tumblr and just look for neat things that you like. If you can't draw all the time,
what would you say?
Are unable
what would you say is the most common thing that you have told to you when somebody is like, somebody wants to learn how to draw or like?
But I want to play video games or do other. How do I have time to that? And it's like you don't. You choose. Do you want to be good at something that no one cares about and no one will care about, like playing a stupid RPG well, having level 99 in Final Fantasy VIII? No. You either draw, that's an actual skill, or, do you want to be a professional gamer? Well, then you better work a lot harder and compete against the other millions of people, just like with art.
Yeah.
So you can choose one. I'm not going to be a professional gamer because I don't have the time for that shit. And I'm not going to say to them, oh man, I wish I had the time. I just flat out know it, and I'm just going to enjoy. I'm not going to get good. I don't even play League of Legends. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, I could.
Jeez.
I could not even. But I just.
Yeah. I play little fiddly iPhone games now because they take 2 minutes to boot up, and you're done. And you go home, and then you draw.
Like, let me pose a question to you. If you had some sort of super secret knowledge of how somebody could get good quick, would you tell that to people?
No, they'd have to work for it. I'm evil, and I'd be like the guru in the mountains that you're like, first you must stand on the top of your head, and then at the end of it, and then, but you already know it was inside you all along,
See, I think if people were if they were given some sort of key to get good quick, and that's good with a U,
with a umlaut, or just...
Yes, get good quick.
Get good.
I think even if people were given that type of information like immediately, I still don't think they would ever do it. And I think that they would do it and be like, wow, I'm good. And then you realize that when you're still doing this, oh man, there's a lot of mental training and stuff you have to go through to motivate yourself to keep doing shit. Like you're still always learning. Even if you get to a level, you still have to keep learning, and you never stop learning. And I think a lot of that, sort of building yourself up and being a shit artist, and getting shit for being a shit artist, makes you a better person when you get your stuff together.
Yeah. Also, the problem is that we're usually teeny boppers at that stage. And that's just kind of an awful age all around. I wish I could have, gone back in time and kind of slapped myself from about ages... Basically, from the time I had my first period to basically the time I graduated high school. And, I also wish I could...
Yeah, nothing good comes out of that era.
Nothing good. And I also wish I could have said, oh, hey, those people that make fun of you and bullying? They're probably weaker than you are. You could literally just push them over, and they're not going to say anything. And then... FYI, if you're a young teeny bopper, and you have a little shrimpy boy making fun of you, you can probably just... Slam him into the lockers.
Let's not advocate violence.
Okay.
I would say to the people that are constantly like, I can't still do this stuff. Everybody at school hates me. Literally, nobody gives two shits about anybody else as soon as you go into college. And then when you're in college, you'll get it like the junior level, and then people are like, oh man, wasn't high school the greatest? I had such a great time with my friends.
People.
And then they find you again. And then most of the times that tends to wane, that goes away.
I've never had anyone who was my friend who said, wow, high school, the best.
I know, right? Well,
those are always the worst people who made fun of you.
But, you only care about high school when you're in high school. And then those people in high school do not give 2.5 shits about you when you're out of high school.
Or
and then when you're in college, when you go to college, the people you only care about are those in college. And then as soon as you get out of college, those people don't fucking care about you either. It really isn't worth, getting your panties in a knot,
people in college to be more
like me.
Well, people in college actually have to work and do things.
Yeah, that's true. But,
so I respect them more as people because they actually are people. And honestly, teenagers are just parasites. They live off their family. They take their daddy's money and wonder why they're so special. And their parents, of course, tell them they're special. Mine did too. They shouldn't have. They should have encouraged me to work harder.
I think the only thing my parents ever complimented me on was they said I was really good at remembering songs from the first few chords. That is literally the only thing I can remember.
That's your magic
people
power
are like,
now.
oh, Andrea, you're so good at that. I don't think it's not that they were like, Andrea, you suck at everything. And everything you do is worthless. They didn't really
Andrea, you're a failure at being 13.
Well, that's the thing is and at the time it was really depressing. It was really frustrating because you feel like you're going nowhere and you're feeling like you're trying to do all these nice things, and then it doesn't really mean anything to your parents. But then I found out later when I was in high school or when I was in college, my parents were bragging about artwork to their friends, but they wouldn't say anything to me up front. So
your parents are just kind of different.
They are a bit different.
Yeah, because my parents would, they praised me. Of course, my dad, I guess, was more of the harder to get love from person.
So my parents.
Oh, see, that's the problem. You need one that's the easy one, and then one that you have to work at to get love from. And that's usually the dad type, the one that's more emotionally distant. But you can make them proud. You just have to work really hard.
I think they're quite a bit better with that now. But
yeah.
Anyways,
it takes. They're like a plain cheese, parents are.
Back off of our rant with... we're just saying, everybody goes through these stages. Everybody goes through these stages where you think you're king shit. And as soon as... if you want to wallow in that stage for a little bit to gather steam to keep going, that's fine. You can be king shit.
Just know you're a teenager.
Yeah, just know that you're wrong. But if you wanna be the biggest fish in your bowl of friends that don't draw, then you can't.
Oh god, that's so. And even then, they'll be, can you draw? I have this great idea for a comic. I had that happen, and even at that point, I'm like, no, I'd rather just draw little.
Don't ever draw for
exposure
either. Don't ever fucking draw for
Just do your own thing. Honestly, just draw for yourself. You're like, wow, I really like horses, and I like horses of all varieties, including furry horses.
But always push yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Don't ever be the type of person...
Draw the best furry horse you can.
Don't ever be the type of person where you're comfortable, where you're just I just need to draw the same dragon head over and over and over and over
that's
and over.
Awful too, yeah.
It's stagnation. It's murder on an artistic
look at
career.
other people who draw sexy horses and continue and then get inspiration to do different things with sexy horses. I mean, you can.
There was this guy on FA that
I don't know why I'm talking about sexy horses.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I'm just thinking. There's a horse on your screen, so of course you're kelpie.
It's a kelpie.
It's a kelpie, but it's basically a rubber horse.
Okay, so there's this guy on FA that when they had a forums and everything, they still don't.
They'll never get it back.
Oh yeah, and I got a note well, we're definitely bringing it back. Yeah,
no,
sure.
Just like you're updating the
apart.
UI. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
you didn't hear that from me. Been there since 2008.
Yeah, it was about the same time.
We're having a UI update in 2009.
Anyways, so this guy had a critique thing that he had these 3 pieces and they all looked pretty much the same, and it was this subspecies that he had made up and everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He basically, long story short, is I told him, listen, you gotta try drawing something other than what you're drawing. Maybe do some anatomy studies of these things. Because he drew these really narrow-faced, smushed skull things, and I'm like, their jaws would never really actually work. Try and draw the jaw. Try and see how that would actually work. Because right now, it literally was like a
deer crossed with Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, it wasn't even like a. It was sort of crossed with Jar Jar Binks. It wasn't like a deer. It was just like it honestly just looked like a smashed faced dog, like muzzle thing. It was awful.
Yeah, which is fine, but you have to do a study for it and make it look like it's supposed to look like.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Maybe that's just how they evolved.
He got super angry at me, and he started a little shit fit and everything, and said I was wrong. And then
I hated how he completely ignored my.
Oh, you know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I wrote right before you. I wrote like a really nice like couple of paragraphs. He completely ignored it.
Oh yeah,
and basically, I have no respect for people
face.
who. Yeah.
That's the king shit face if you never come out of it. And I looked on his page the other day, and he just draws backgroundless things of the same face over and over. And each one is titled, I am so frustrated, I don't know what to do. Like...
Unless that's the character's emotion, in which I guess that's fine.
No. He definitely seemed very unhappy on the site.
Unless he just draws characters constantly grabbing their head like, I don't know what to do.
No. He's like, I have no inspiration. The next one's titled, I don't know what to do. I'm so bored.
Yeah, because you draw in shitty colors, and you don't do anything else other than draw your things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the king shit mentality if you let that drag on. And that is always the result of it, is you draw your exact same thing over and over and over until you frustrate yourself in a corner and you stop.
Yeah. Also, no one likes you.
You can't get stuck in that, and nobody likes you. You're a dick.
So then you're not even fun to hang out with, and then you don't have any art friends unless they're like, oh no, you're fine.
No, that was most of his comments. And then you get
like ass patty friends, and that's not good either because then they only want you to be a friend.
You need art friends that'll challenge you, and you need art friends that will give you an honest critique. Like you can't surround yourself in that king asshat.
Andrea,
stage.
Your paws are quite large.
They are. I did make them too big. I'm just saying.
Do one for me.
Kristen, sometimes you change the colors last minute, and I think they looked better before.
Oh yeah, you're right. See, there you go. Because we're adults, and we could accept that we have a lot of flaws.
Yeah, I mean, we're well-trained people that we understand that people aren't personally attacking us. We understand people are doing their best to help.
I know you are. My colors mean everything to me. I'm like a chameleon, and you just
all of them.
They're like a baby that I aborted, like basically 99% of the way there, and I don't need to be told that it was better before.
We've gone on quite the tangent, and I don't even think we've even talked about the actual image and stuff.
Oh, no, we haven't.
It's a good discussion. It's a good discussion. Yeah. Don't let yourself get stuck in king shit stage, ever. That is death for your career. You need to, it's fine to stay in it for a little bit if you need to gather steam. You're like, wow, I'm having a lot of fun doing this same thing, but you will always burn out. Always burn out. And there's nothing to save you, because you don't challenge yourself, you don't go anywhere else. So your brain's like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and it's just like, and then it just stops. So, I mean, you always have to challenge yourself. And that's also another thing I hear from people somewhat in the middle of it, somewhat starting out. They're like, oh, I can't seem to draw anything but this Link face that I saw from Ocarina of Time over and over and over. And it's just like, well, you gotta draw something else. Well, it's hard. Well, yeah. Yes, it is.
I don't like having to work for it. I like being a special snowflake and being good at everything.
I'd seen this Vine one time, and I want to say, I think it was Josh Peck. It was a Josh Peck Vine. He got in a car accident from doing Vines.
I have no idea who that is. I don't like Vines.
You probably know him if you saw him. But he did this one Vine where he like honked, there was a honking thing, and he jumps in his seat, and he's like, I don't like that because I scared myself a little and I'm unsure. Like, and that type of things. Yeah. Yeah, I honk because it scared me a little, and I'm afraid of it. Like, I'm afraid of consequences. It was something. It was fantastic, but that tends to be what that reminds me of a lot. But so let's talk about this picture.
Yeah, let's do that.
So they did. This one is titled "Women in Winterland / Summer's Child." Oh man, just look at this big thing over her head. I honestly have no excuses. I guess I started drawing wolves and never practiced humans, and then somehow thought I was really good at them. And that is also another thing. Is like you'll embellish yourself, and you're like, oh man, if I can fucking draw this dragon head over and over, I can draw this human head, and it's like, and then you stop. She said that, or they said, I actually did get a critique for this last one, mainly the eyes and the nose, and Did you want to say what your comments were on this one? Not the.
Oh yeah. Basically, it sort of looks like all the characters from like basically Legend of Zelda. Like they have like really like almond shaped eyes and stuff. It's like super stylized. But then also she has like a.
Well, I thought it was that it looks like she's like an Inuit, but she has a really white face.
Yeah.
Like she looks like a white
apparently I can't
Inuit.
even remember what I said.
Well, you said you didn't want to talk about the eyes and the negative connotation that you had said.
I may have... Yeah, no.
It looks like a different ethnicity, but white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, there is no blood flow. She is basically like a White Walker. I mean...
I honestly, I have a lot of trouble with this as well, in adding, colors to face to make them look alive, and that is one of my biggest...
a little red overlay. Just add a little...
I'd seen something on, I think it was on Tumblr, that it was like the best way to go about like adding color to the face is you have a sort of base like this, but yeah, you use a sort of red overlay over like the eyes and the nose area.
Yeah, basically anywhere skin's thin or
the blushing area.
Or basically anywhere like light hits and there's like a strong like difference between the light and the
She
dark
has her
part.
hand on her head or on her forehead right now.
I know, it's not very good. Basically if you have something like cast in shadow, like part of the face, that there's going to be like red lighting because your skin is transparent. Your skin isn't just like a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And you're gonna and white people in particular, if you draw darker skin, a lot of times you can get some like purple or green tones, but white people in particular, there's a lot of us. So, if you look, a lot of white people have a lot of yellow, a lot of red.
Well, that's the thing, is that's the way it was described, is like over the middle of the face is sort of a red overlay, and then on the forehead is sort of a yellow overlay, and then around the mouth is blue. That's what I had seen. And it's obviously a very, very faint type of overlay, but that's a way to actually get, realistic skin tones.
I think it just depends on the lighting, too.
Yeah, it probably depends on the lighting.
Like, if you have a spotlighting coming from the top, of course, it would be bluer towards the bottom. But basically, remember that skin is transparent. So
I really like her tiny ear flaps. I think those are my favorite parts.
Oh, her, for me, it's her grandma lips. Her, it's like, the problem is, she has tiny ears to protect.
I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work, but it just, normally you have, those big ear flaps that start from where the forehead goes around, and then that whole thing is ear flap.
You're supposed to basically be able to wrap it under your chin and strap it. My hat that's like that, you wrap it, and then it ties under the chin. Mm. Because
but for hers, it just has these little tiny baubles.
She's like a little baby.
I know. And also, I'm not quite sure if she's supposed to have markings on her face or if she's crying.
I think that's literally her Botox injections are right. She has very
no, these. Her Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Oh,
things.
Those are tears. Tears aren't blue, by the way.
Are they tears? Because they're the exact same place on both. I think they're markings.
Isn't that where tears come from?
Yeah, they come from everywhere.
But zoom into her eyes again. Is it watering? I can't tell because it's super...
She's so mysterious. They don't look to be watering.
Okay, well then she just has weird markings that you can't tell.
She has just the Mind Sculptor markings. She just has the white stuff coming out on her face.
Just the
big
basic
disgrace.
Proportion. She has the longest nose, but the tiniest nose at the same time. She's one of those Pixar aliens or something. They just always stylize people like that. Mm-hmm. And then she has the weirdest tiny grandma lips, and because of her high cheekbones
everything
and stuff,
is,
it just looks
slanted.
kind of yeah.
Well, it's not really that she has high cheekbones. She actually has very low cheekbones because they go all the way over
maybe
here.
She just has very large cheekbones.
Yeah, I mean, just
How about
everything.
That? How about that? She has a cat nose almost.
She does sort of have a cat nose.
It's very elongated. Maybe she's half cat.
I think what it is just it's that starting thing that everything sort of flips out that you're trying to show everything at the same time. So that's why you can see
the Dark Crystal. It's basically
everyone.
Everyone from the Dark Crystal. I hope you guys know what that is because it's a movie from the 80s.
Look it up.
It's important.
I can't bother to link it.
No,
I might link it.
It's pretty good. But basically, the Muppets kind of look like how this looks. So, FYI, make sure, or also the Grinch or whatever the new one that came out where they had the terrifying Who's. And they had the...
Yeah, God,
that's it. That's it. That's what it is. It's the Who / Dark Crystal.
Mary Lou Who.
Cindy Lou Who is no more than 2. Get it right.
But it rhymes Lou with 2. How am I supposed to remember the first part?
Was the Grinch a Who?
I thought he was like a mutated Who.
Why didn't they love him?
Because he was a fucking mutant. I don't know. They had a lot of love for each other, but they were racist as shit, and they just kicked him out.
They were. Like, no one brought that up in the original one. But they
Dr.
were
Seuss
fine.
was kind of racist, wasn't he? What did Dr. Seuss do? Was he a racist or was he a sexist? It was one of the two.
I don't remember him drawing a lot of women, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. He died in 1995, I know that. So he died before...
Doctor Who.
Dr. Seuss. Maybe he was racist? I don't know.
Racist. I thought there was...
How is Green Eggs and Ham, like, racist or sexist?
Oh, yeah, before Seuss was famous, he used to draw these sad racist pictures. I know that he had done something just like... I think he did a lot of blackface.
My favorite is when you can't see anything because the ads, like, just completely...
Oh, there it goes.
That's weird. Where are the sad racist pictures? Come on.
I know, right?
Oh.
Depressing as they reveal most original artists had the same tired views of non-whites that his contemporaries did. Oh, they were Japanese.
Oh, boy. It was kind of...
Racist Dr. Seuss.
We're terrible people. Then again, like, did you see, like, Hitler's paintings? They actually weren't that bad.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God, that's like Little Sambo kind of things. Oh, God.
It's not like Little Sambo.
It basically just is.
God, that's
if you like seeing gibbering black people with cauldrons...
Don't worry,
and,
I'll link it on there.
Oh, God.
I'll go in my shit folder where it deserves to be. Oh, my computer's been so slow today.
I will say, I am fascinated that was even a thing, because, like...
Oh, there's another good one.
Well, like, the Japanese one, yeah...
So, he did...
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought. Anyways.
You can tell he's a good cartoonist, though. He renders it pretty well, but it is super racist.
I don't know if just full color, just black, just a solid shape of black is really rendering.
Then again, I have, like, a lot of, like,
God,
World War II propaganda posters, especially the one that's, like, the
they're
anti-Japanese
fun in a campy,
one.
Yeah, they're fun in a campy way, but as long as we obviously recognize that is fucking awful.
Well, like, mine, it has, like, a picture of Hitler, and then a picture of...
I really like your Korean ones that the North Koreans had about us.
Oh, yeah.
Those are amazing.
The North Korea... I have a book
essentially
on North
has
Korean
that,
posters.
That Americans eat babies?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, apparently that was also a rumor that the Japanese spread in Okinawa during World War II. That Americans would barbecue their babies and skin them alive. So,
God.
No, we don't.
Well, we were pretty terrible, but...
well, the Japanese were worse.
Anyways, let's not go off...
I can go so deep into how terrible they were.
That is what I wrote. I think it was either my college or my I think it was my high school thesis. Like, how you had to do, like, a big, giant-ass paper at the tail end of high school?
Well, I didn't, but...
Well,
I did in college.
Mine was on World War II propaganda and stuff, and I love that stuff to bits, but as the terrible, miserable artwork that it is.
Some of it...
It's really nice looking sometimes.
Sometimes, but... I don't know, the Japanese, after seeing their war crimes, and trust me, America has a ton of war crimes, but when you read the Japanese war crimes, and basically no one was punished for it, and they were doing, like, really Nazi shit there. Like...
It was bad.
Like, basically Nazi stuff. Also, they murdered everyone they captured. That's really terrible. And the Bhutan Death March, and, just, they're not good.
Anyway,
sometimes propaganda
what we're trying to say
histories.
Is that you've whitewashed your character.
Yeah, if you want to make her look like an Inuit, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just like a, Legend of Zelda, where they're like weird elfy white people. Like,
I think honestly having more minority-based character studies of stuff is helpful, and that's definitely something I have to do.
No, white people are the best. You must only do the whites.
You do what applies to you. That's the thing. It's like, of course, the characters that you draw when you're starting out are always going to be,
anime.
Stuff that stuff that isn't super hard. And it is a different sort of... You have to sort of attempt things differently if you're coloring like an African-American type of face. And the varying degrees of that, They all have different color palettes and stuff. So, I mean, it's very normal to be starting out and you want to draw a person. You're like, yeah, I'd really like to draw, maybe some sort of Inuit type of person. And then you get towards it and you're like, oh, boy, this is uncharted territory for me and I'm scared, so...
Yeah, and, like, I wouldn't worry too much about people thinking it's racist.
Yeah.
Like,
we're obviously joking.
Unless you're literally doing, like, World War II propaganda where it's
unless
obviously
you're drawing like
racist.
early Dr. Seuss.
If you're drawing like Bucktooth, what's his Hirohito, then maybe that's racist.
Well, like I said, when we say that you've whitewashed your character, we're joking.
Yeah, we don't mean it that way. It's
we don't think you literally did that.
We can't tell though if you intended to make, because it's not very realistic. If the person's Inuit and also they're literally like a White Walker in which they have no blood flow.
I don't think that was intentional. She probably just tried to draw,
skin is usually not gray.
A Caucasian human being, and then ran into issues.
With the
so let's talk about.
Assume it wouldn't be Caucasian.
Well, it's probably anime, and then it was worked farther from that.
Yeah. Oh, kind of like Ocarina of Time white people, where where they have like Asian-y eyes, but you don't. But it's like stylistic.
Well,
also, they're all blonde.
Well, no, I just think that it was probably an anime style, and then they try to do realistic, and that's why the eyes look very almond looking. They're very Inuit.
Yeah. At least I give you props though for not having two odd colored eyes. Heterochromia. There we go. Because that's
and brown
something
to boot. Brown eyes are never.
They had
drawn.
that in Final Fantasy X. Yuna had two different colored
Let's
eyes.
talk about the other stuff because we've been on this for probably about an hour now.
Okay, her fur is really realistic compared to everything else, but it's not like.
It looks like a texture overlay. Like I wouldn't say that it's realistic. It has a lot of crazy shit happening in it.
Yeah.
And it is a different texture than everything else, which is good, but it's sort of noisy and distracting in a way that it doesn't look like it was intentionally done well. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, it does look a lot more like a texture than something you painted.
Yeah.
Also, oh, okay.
See if they stop.
Also, like, this is just like a... Like, the shading on the neck, at first I thought they were, like, triangle stripes, but I don't think they are. I think that's just the meaty bit of the neck. But also, if they're in the snow, wouldn't they have a scarf?
They're badass, Kristen. They don't need no scarves.
As someone with short hair and a cold neck, I always have to wear a scarf when I go out, and it's below 70 degrees.
So, we would definitely suggest, especially for the shadows on your person here, definitely having more, warmer tones to suggest some sort of life. Like, the color on the face is very dead. And it honestly, without trying to laugh at it, it looks like what people look like when they're presented in a funeral, kind of. Where they just have, like, a lot of makeup caked on their face, and they're really sort of smoothed out. It's sort of gross.
And they're very cold when you touch them.
Well, obviously, they're dead.
That
weirds me out about that. Like when I went to my grandmother's funeral and stuff back last January, I got to see her in the hospital and stuff before she died, and she was on her last legs and stuff when I saw her. But like, I don't know, that's always the thing that really weirds me out is when people either go to the hospital or they're near death. Like it seems like their face just like it just smooths out. It just sort of goes.
I think it
everywhere.
depends on the person and probably what they're suffering from.
Well, like. The other people I've seen in the hospital before they died all looked like that too.
Oh, I haven't seen many.
One
people
of them died of
cancer.
So. My grandmother died of COPD, and God, just even my grandfather's face and stuff, he had died of like a massive heart attack.
Now that I think about it, they get like a pallor that isn't natural. Yeah, and like I remember my grandmother.
It becomes very much an object. Like it stops becoming a person. Like when you're looking at it, and it becomes like a facsimile of a person. It always weirds me out about funerals.
Is it facsimile or simile? I can't remember. Because it's simile and metaphor.
It's probably facsimile. No, I thought it was a facsimile.
I have no idea.
Whatevs. Okay, bees, you can come up here.
Dead people are gross. So.
Yes, they are. But that is the type of color palette that we have here. It's a very light and very washed out, and very caked on makeup looking type of thing. So do some research into, realistic color tones and stuff, and honestly, like the trees are sort of like this white descending yard line thing that you have. He's just
like,
straddling.
He's trying to get on my lap, but he doesn't want to leave.
Come on up there.
Yeah, come here.
Oh, he's probably not far enough. Oh, good. Just stick your claws into my hands. It's good.
If he doesn't care if he falls, I don't understand why he's
he
so
was
scared.
straddled too far.
Oh, well, he's fat.
Yeah. Okay, but like the lines and stuff there in the snow, they're really distracting looking because they sometimes overlap the trees a little bit.
It looks like a really like a.
It's like a football field.
Like, in Super Nintendo, like, that's how they would do Mode 7.
It does.
It looks kind of like Mode 7 . So,
it really does.
especially, like, the opening to Final Fantasy VI actually used snow like that. It was Mode 7.
Did it?
So, one of the most beautiful openings I've ever seen in the game.
Well, good.
If you,
let's zoom in on the tree. Oh.
What's that thing happening above her head?
I
Is that a
don't...
puffball?
I think it's like a road or something.
Or is it just a puffball on the head?
No, because it stops at the horizon.
That's a horizon?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What did you think that was?
I thought it was just like a gray bar overlaid for some reason on top of the screen. Oh, well, there's another problem. I had no idea that was a horizon. Usually when it snows, it's not just flat like the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, it just fades out into whiteness.
I kind of half expect to point and click to kill a rabbit because my people are starving.
You're succubus of a family.
You're succubus of a wagon party.
I would say definitely like these tree, like this looks really bad.
Yeah, that's lazy.
The bottom
you can see the brush bark.
Right.
Like,
and this one you can see sort of like the wobbliness of the trunk over here. But yeah, definitely just having just a bottom, especially if it's in snow.
Just a bottom, yeah.
Well, like,
that does help.
There's a bunch of just like crazy ass marks that just go up and about. And also, I think at this point, I wouldn't even bother putting some sort of path. Because, like we said, this looked like some sort of puffball on the top of her head.
I didn't realize...
You could have put it from the side,
That's
sort of coming in.
That's also not, like, good perspective, because you wouldn't be looking like that unless the hill just goes up for some reason.
Oh, if it was like this?
Yeah, that's like... And all the trees get just super tiny. Like they can only grow as high as... Like, you're at the top of the world in Minecraft, and your trees can't grow any further. You know what I mean? It's just like... it's just... It's really odd, and that's not how perspective works. If we're at eye level with her, the trees would be taller... Also, the horizon would be basically lower.
Good. That's
right?
the sound of the cat peeing.
I'm not wrong, right?
No, you're right. Let's just keep talking to talk over the cat peeing in the box right now.
Okay, cats are great. Also, like, you could look at, different cultures have different, like, dress, especially if they're in, like, winter and stuff. Like,
I did forget about that. I can't lock them out of this room because the cat box is in there.
Really?
I
really hate cat boxes.
Good.
But yeah, no, like, a lot of people who live in, like, really bleak, terrible environments, like, I don't know, like Finland and stuff, I don't know what Finland's like.
Finland, for example.
They're in the heart,
bleak and
they're in, like, the
terrible.
Arctic Circle, right? So they wear a lot of bright colors on their traditional stuff, like a lot of reds, blacks, whites. So maybe that's something to look for. I'm not sure what Inuits wear, but I'm sure a lot of them do have dyed interesting goodies.
It would definitely might be interesting to put more bright colors, because right now everything is just brown town, pretty much. Yeah. It's just brown and beige.
Like, that's the most fun part about winter garb, like traditional winter garbs. A lot of it's super... like the Sami, I guess they farm reindeer and stuff.
For nothing.
He's a fucking cat. He doesn't care. He just wants to cause mayhem.
I just gotta smell it. Make sure it happened.
God. Animals are gross.
Yeah. For the most part, my cat box has always been on the other side of the apartment, but he's recently decided that he doesn't like going in there, and he doesn't like it. And I changed it around to, like, his ideal condition, and he doesn't fucking like it. So he only pees in this bathroom now, which is really frustrating when the cat lays a shit. It just stinks up this room like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But he's not freaking out and not peeing. Like, he's been having a lot of problems. He's on cat Prozac right now, so... Maybe I'll be able to switch it back. But the nice thing is, if he's peeing in here, I get my laundry room back.
Don't ever stop it.
I get my laundry room back.
Yeah, just don't ever stop the Prozac, though. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Because, my God, if you go off that, sometimes it will completely reverse. As someone who's been on Prozac, don't fuck with that shit. If it's working, just let it be. It's not going to kill you.
It's $4 a month for him.
Yeah, it's very cheap. It's cheap for a human. It's cheap for a cat.
I was surprised how cheap it was.
It's generic. You don't have to pay the Prozac Corporation or whatever it is.
Well, yeah.
Until someone buys up the patent.
Jenna's contact. Come over at 3:30. Can you let Kristen know she's not on Pigeon?
Yes.
We're recording FridgeArt.
No, don't say it.
She knows.
Okay.
There we go. 3:30 tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
Why do people eat so early on Thanksgiving?
Honestly, that is really early. Normally, last time was like 5.
Like,
I don't know. My parents do it at 1.
Yeah, my family does too. They're like, we need to spend the entire morning getting ready. Also, here's, but we have 2 ovens in our house because we have a split level house. And so that's double the work you have to do.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for peeing and being noisy.
Cat pee
I don't have
also
anything
smells.
else for this.
Yeah, no, I think we said. I like the Mode 7 background there.
Mode 7 is best 7. Let's see. 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
Well, most of this was just talking
about relevant things.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you guys have anything that you want to send to us for critique, we're FridgeArtPodcast@gmail.com. And if you like our stuff, then, watch our YouTube and tell your friends, because that's literally how we get any sort of traffic.
Tell your kids, tell your wife.
Yeah.
And hide them.
Well, tell them, then hide them. You don't want to do it in the opposite order. Okay, I've been Andrew Radick.
And I'm Kristen Plesko.
Alright, and that's Kit Romney. Beazle, you want to chime in? No?
He's
okay. Well, thank you very much.